Hi everyone and welcome back to Get Good at Golf. In today's video we are giving you a sneak peek into exactly what our Sunday Club members do get. We're going to talk you through some awkward lies on our brand new GolfZone 2 Vision Simulator, the world's best golf simulator, and you can see that map moving to give us awkward different lies, uphill, downhill, ball below, ball above. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Smash that subscribe button and subscribe to Sunday Club if you'd like to see more videos just like this one. And if you are already a member of Sunday Club, thank you so much for your support. It really does mean the world. Hello everyone and welcome back to Sunday Club. Guys, you join us now in the GolfZone Simulator, and you might be able to see here we actually have the ball on a downhill slope, and we also need to be in the rough. So I'm going to move this just into the rough now, and we're going to explain just how to play shots like this, because it's quite a difficult thing for a lot of people to do. If the ball is on a downhill slope, the first thing you want to do is think about what club you're taking, how much loft you have. I've got a 5-iron in my hands here, and you'll see we're just off the front of the first tee at PGA National, and generally my 5-iron will go around 190 yards, I think, with a good strike. Dynamically, this loft is going to play a lot less, so it's going to come out quite a lot more. Hopefully, if I get the right strike out of this rough, you can see that ball's come out quite low, and now you'll see that travelling. Look at that one go. 198 yards, and it's spinning only at 3,000. My 5-iron, look at it now. Look at this go. My 5-iron would usually spin around probably 4,500, 5,000, so it's actually dropped the spin off as well. More of a knuckle ball. And now we have quite an interesting one. We have ball above feet.
I've come in.
Oh, Chris is in, right, sorry.
Right, so we're going to talk now. Obviously, when you practice at your golf club on the driving range, we often practice the perfect lies, the flat lie. We all do it, but on the golf course, we've got different lies. Normally we're behind trees as well, which is where James has left me. But James has just had a downhill lie, so we need to think about what you need to do at setup. So once we get on a downhill lie, James talked about loft. We don't want to go too little loft, it'll launch too low, maybe never get going. Especially whilst it's still wet out there, it's not going to get as much run. But once we're on a downhill lie, we are trying to get our body matching that slope so we can get that golf club following down the slope and generating the right loft to get the ball in the air. We've now got the ball above my feet, so the tendency here is to see this ball move right to left. So what do we need to do when the ball is above our feet is we need to think about, are we gripping down the club a little bit? Because it's above our feet, it is a little bit closer to us, so we want to be making sure we're gripping down. Even maybe an inch is going to do enough for you to help us generate the correct strike on this shot. With this being above the feet as well, that is getting the face pointing a little bit left. So I've got to here find my way through the trees, but I've got to aim a little bit right of the flag because I know it's going to work right to left for the right-handed golfer. So a little bit down this. And then from there, I feel like I'm a little bit out to the right.
What a shot.
Underneath the tree.
Look at that come back as well, that's incredible. Oh, it's just stayed there a little bit.
Come back, I've got the correct distance. It didn't draw, it didn't draw as much as I wanted it to, but that is how, for us to play different lies, we have to take into account how we set up to the ball. The setup is not the same every single time on the golf course. We have to think if the ball's below, if the ball's above, is it downhill, is it uphill? How many times you actually finish on a flat lie is very rare. So we need to take that into account. What do I need to do? You might be misstriking the ball just because you're not adjusting your setup to the slope you are on. So James,
I'm back.
I'm going to let you chip.
Oh, wonderful. Can I have your 8-iron?
You can have your 8-iron. Bump and run here. So James is going to show us how to just play this little bump and run.
So we're going to play a little bump and run through a little bit of semi-rough, distance 17 yards. So now usually what you would do with a bump and run, you would have the ball back in the stance, you'd have a little bit of forward shaft lean, and you just rock your shoulders here. I'm actually on a touch of a downhill slope, so again, it's going to take a little bit of loft off there. So you might think, will I go to a 9-iron instead of 8-iron? Would I go to a pitching wedge? So dynamically that ball would come off quite nicely. I'm just going to scoot this further forward in the stance, probably to the middle. I'm still going to have a little bit of forward shaft lean, still treat it like a little bit of a putt, and just chip that ball and run it up nicely, and then it goes in. Oh! But you can see there how that is much more of a percentage play than if you were just to use typically a 56 degree wedge. Right, now we're going to try and find a shot where the ball will be below your feet. Then Chris is going to explain just how to work that, and then we're going to look at when you're on an uphill slope as opposed to a downhill slope. Right guys, now we have ball below the feet. So generally what we're going to do here is use a lot of your height. The ball will want to move from left to right in the air. So again, you need to think about just how you are going to approach this shot. Where is the miss? Do you want to miss it left? Can you afford to let it go right? And also think about your strike, because if that ball's massively below your feet, you're going to lose your balance forward just a touch. So just make sure that you keep that balance, you use the full length of the shaft here, and from there, you can start to play some really, really nice, well-struck shots. You can see the A-time for me there going 150 yards on the nose, which is a nice A-time for me. I've managed to keep that distance. I managed to hit a pretty straight shot. Now we're going to try and find one where an uphill lie, and Chris can talk you through exactly how to play that shot.
So here we're not going to be able to reach the green. We've got 207 yards to go to a layup, which as it says, because it's 259 yard into the green. So James has provided me with a 3-iron. So here we need to think about, obviously, when we are on an upslope, it's adding loft to our club. So the same as around the green, we need to think about what kind of club are we choosing, because if we're on an upslope and we use James's favourite club, the 60, then that's going to be adding too much loft. It's probably going to pop up, it's going to come up short. So then if I was to get that ball close to the hole, if I drop down to the 56, it's already adding loft, so I'm going to get it going forward a little bit more and probably getting to that. So exactly the same here. I've got a 3-iron. Will that reach 207 yards? Well, if this is now launching at a 5-iron, it potentially is not going to reach that far. So I would have to think about it here. Right, I might go up to a 5-wood, I might go up to a 3-wood, depending how far the green is away. And that's where we see a lot of people, even if you're closer than this, even if you've got 150 yards, but it's 20 yards uphill, we've got to account for that, and we've got to club correctly, and we've also got to adjust to that slope. So we've got to make sure, again, I'm not fighting into the slope, because if I go into the slope, that's going to encourage me to hit down. It's either going to launch low, or we're going to catch it very heavy, and it's not going to go very far in front of us. So the same here, I want to go with the slope, I want to be there. We know here one big thing is once I go with the slope when we're on an uphill lie, is that my tendency is it's hard to transfer my weight. If I'm angled this way, it's very hard to get all the way across. So we're likely to see, we release that club head, and if anything, we start to see a bit of a draw. So when we're on this kind of lie, if we're hitting up towards a green, we need to adjust for that. We need to aim a little bit to the right, make sure I'm matching the slope, and then just swing normally. We might not get our weight all the way left, but we still want to be in balance. There, I have left the face beautifully square, and I've sent it out to the right. Wow. But that a 3-iron there for me should be going 220 yards, but that launched exceptionally high and only went 189. So I've lost nearly 30 yards because of how much that was on an upslope. So when you're out on the golf course, guys, please take into account, assess your lie. So
I've got another one.
See what it's like in the rough, or if it's in the fairway, what club can you get to that, and then think what slope are you on.
So here now we're in the rough. So on the Golfzone Simulator we have thick rough, we have semi-rough. We're in the deep rough here, so I've put that in there. Now, how do you attack this? Especially the lie's a little bit down. This makes it even more difficult. You're always going to approach this with more club than you per se need. I would usually hit an 8-iron here. Oh, in fact, no, it's 170 yards. So it's 150 yards to the front of the green. So I would probably go with an 8-iron here, and then the ball should run out actually out of the rough because it's going to have less spin on it. So if I do hit an 8-iron here and hit it well, I would guarantee this ball will come up short just because I need more club to get out of this rough. Let's see just how this does go. I'm still going to try and get nice and steep down into this because I need to get down into the bottom of that ball. Like that. I'll tell you what, go on. Does it go 150? Just about 150 yards in the air. Just struggled to square that club face up because I was trying to get down into the back of the ball a little bit too much. Guys, a really interesting video there for you here on Sunday Club. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you so much for sticking with us with Sunday Club. We are trying to bring you some really, really fun, exciting, slightly different content. So we look forward to seeing you all at exactly the same time on Monday, and then we'll see you again next Sunday. Remember, invite a friend. Why not?